Hey everybody, this is Xloto, and welcome back to Let's Play Dragon Quest Side by Side. Ready for episode 2? I know I am. I'm going to be showcasing mostly the US version today of Dragon Warrior for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and just editing in clips from the others as pertinent. And I chose the name Ivor from the suggestions given, so props go to Lolo Guru from the GameFAQs message boards for that. And oh crud, there's a dragon. What's he doing? He's stealing the ball of light. Shiny balls. What's going on? Crud, they're breaking into the princess's bedroom. What are we gonna do? What are they doing there? Oh, they're leaving. That's great. Yes! Well, that scene was from the Game Boy Color versions, both the American and Japanese versions of that have that in there. And we are a descendant of Erdrick, listening to words. Erdrick's defeated demons with a ball of... Oh, the Dragon Lord stole the ball of light. And we have to get it back. There's our quest, yo. We get to take these items from this treasure throne room. And here's our stats. We get pretty good stats with the name Ivor. Strength and agility both strong, start at 4, HP at 15. And these 3 treasure chests contain the same items in all of the versions of the game that I've played. They all contain 120 gold, a torch, and a magic key. Now this character in the remakes is different, but I'll show you that up ahead. We'll get to see the throne room scene at least. And it looks like they did take the princess. How they carried her off, I don't know. She must have been invisible. This one tells us there's a town nearby. This one tells us keys will disappear when we use them. There's the key in our inventory, but we can use the door command instead of going through all that. And then the game resets. Gah! Now, I wanted to show you the Japanese version. And this is me struggling with how to spell Ivor in Japanese. I finally settled upon Aiba. I would have preferred a vowel extension at the end, but that's all I get for space-wise. And this is the Famicom version on the left and the MSX1 version on the right. Let me know if you like this split screen effect, because it was kind of difficult to line it up straight, but I like the way it looks. I may use it from time to time in the future. Now notice the coloring on the right hand side is not so good. Then we switch over to the MSX2 on the right hand side, and the colors are a lot better all of a sudden. Other than that, the playing window, as you can see, expanded quite a bit. There's still black borders around the edges, but the actual size of the screen is larger. The menu items on the Japanese versions also are in a different order than on the English. So if you're used to the English and you try to play it the same way, you'll get confused. You'll also notice that all of the sprites are facing in one direction only, and walking sideways and walking backwards and walking down. It's always facing the same direction. The MSX2 version, as you can see, doesn't have scrolling. The NES was... I think a lot of people don't realize how good the scrolling mechanism on the Nintendo Entertainment System was. It made a lot of games look really good that would have otherwise been really choppy, like this one. And we're back into Tantagel Castle, or Tantagel. I've always said Tantagel. Also known as Laratom no Oshiro in Japanese. My pronunciation is probably a little bit off. I haven't been practicing my accent, but you get the idea. I've translated it as Laratorm when I played it in Japanese. And here's our Who's Who list so far. Good time as any to look at that. We have Erdrick, also known as Loto. Where have I heard that before? The Dragon Lord, also known as Draco Lord, and Ryuo, which means Dragon King in Japanese. There was King Lorik, who is also called King Lars. And Princess Gwaelin, who originally was known as Princess Laura, or Laura Hime, and changed to Lady Laura in the the Game Boy Color version. And finally, concentrating on the people again. Rumor has it that entire towns have been destroyed by the Dragon Lord's minions. I wonder if it could be true. Now this fellow here says, where oh where can I find Princess Gwaelin? And according to this man, we should have a torch. Do I have a torch? Yeah, I have a torch. Ivor's coming was foretold by legends. I'm a legend! I am legend! Wait, that didn't end so well, did it? Welcome to Tantagel Castle, as we leave. Goodbye. Now, this is the Super Famicom version. I wanted to look through the opening sequence. And here we get to spell Ivor as I normally would in Japanese, in katakana, with extra room for a vowel extension at the end. And Master Speed 3 looks good. Now this is actually the first game I've played in Japanese that makes heavy use of kanji, which is the more complicated symbols you see flying by here. I'm making great effort to learn them very well as I go, so I won't have to stop so long and translate. And I've really only done a cursory job so far, but from what I can tell, the text in this version and in the Game Boy Color version are nearly identical to the translation which is in the Game Boy Color version as released in the US. So if I spot any major differences, I will let you know. But so far, just looking over it quickly, as I have, it seems to be very close to the original Famicom, for one thing, and where it is different, it's awfully close to the Game Boy Color version, which is closer to the original than what we got to begin with anyway. Now here, looking at the stats, instead of just strength and agility, there's also a third stat here named bodily defense, Mino Mamori, which actually affects defense instead of agility, affecting defense. And that was the location of a hidden herb from that can be found in both the Super Famicom and the Game Boy Color versions. And here we are in Brecconary, also known as the town of Tantagel, or the town of Laraton. And my strategy here, to start off all 7 playthroughs of this game, is going to be by the club, and then the dragon scale, which I'll get to later, and then I'll fight for the last 30 gold that I need to buy the leather armor, rather than buying clothes. Beware the bridges! Danger grows when thou crosses. It's not exactly true, but it's very close to true that enemy encounter regions line up pretty well with the bridges, so that's some good advice. If you're playing this for the first time and you don't want to die, don't cross the bridges until you're strong enough to handle what you're already facing very reliably. Hast thou any proof? No, of course I have no proof. I just waltzed in and said, I am Erdrick's descendant. And here's a guy who hopes we don't die. That's very nice of him. And off to another town. There's our first lead. Go north to the coast and west, and there's Garenham. And this character is dying. It's very sad. And this fellow introduces us to Charlock. I've always said Charlock with kind of, I guess kind of French. It's probably Charlock, but I've always said Charlock with a SH, so there we have it. And the dragon scale. Using it as an item increases your defense by 2 permanently, even if you sell it back, which I'm not going to do. I like to have it, because I'm silly like that. But, you know, I didn't check and see if that works in the remakes, but I would be surprised if it did. Now here's a couple things that were added into the remakes. For instance, this sleeping guy down here, he's, Chimera no Tsubasa. That's a wing of the wyvern. And this is the vault. What I was saying about the old guy is he's one of the ones who was walking around and told us about the poison marshes. The man who actually tells you about the failed mission to save Princess Gwaelin, he's actually up in the corner behind the buildings where the bridge guy was. And the reason this clip is in here, really, besides the vault, is to show you this. She says, "No, I'm not Princess Gwaelin, but you are rather handsome, aren't you?" And this man, I like his animation. Ooh, he shivers in fear, speaking about Sherlock Castle and then saying how it's so scary. Well, finally time to go out and fight some monsters. And I'm going straight down here. The encounter rate is higher, so... Oh, crud, it's a Drakee. And it's a Drakee. And it's a Drakee. Like the colors? I like the colors. This is a Drakee. And it's a Drakee. Oh my gosh, let's go get him. My favorite graphic for the Drakee is actually the MSX2. I like it better than the 16-bit Super Famicom for some reason. And as you can see, this thing is kicking my butt. Took away almost half my hit points in one battle. Time to head back. Oh, and then what do we meet? A red slime! And another red slime. Now the Japanese for this says Suraima Besu. So I'm not sure exactly what that means. Slime Besu, Slime Beth, Slime Beth. I go with Slime Beth because I don't know any better. And I cut out some in-between parts there so that I can show you the slime next. And slime is slime. He's always been slime. He's never known by any other names. And isn't this a pretty slime? I like this one. Actually, for this game, I believe I like the MSX2's graphics for monsters better than any of the others I've seen so far. And courage and wit have served me well. And finally, after a long struggle, we have enough money to buy the leather armor. I actually died in 2 of these games from overestimating my ability to take down a Drakee. In one of them, the Drakee softened me up and I got beat down by a red slime on my way back. He surprised me. Wouldn't let me get away with my 1 hit point. Now this man down here, he restores your magic points. So at level 3, you have magic points to cast the heal spell, and you can recover yourself, and then speak to him again to recover your hit points, and then go off and save the game. So you don't have to even spend the paltry 6 gold to stay at the inn at Brecconary. In the Japanese Famicom and MSX versions, it's the moot point because it doesn't save your hit points and magic points. It starts you at max every time after entering the password. But there you go. And I guess that's about time for the closing. And don't forget to hold in the power key. I mean the reset key! Ah!